What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. Manchester United have just beaten Aston Villa 2-1 at Villa Park in what has to be Erik ten Hag's biggest win of the season. We were going up against a wounded animal who just got embarrassed by Chelsea 3-1 at home in the FA Cup and last won a home game in December. If you guys have watched United play for the last 4 or 5 seasons, you know this is the type of game that we lose. We are the team that everyone wants to play against when they're in bad form because we tend to just bottle it. Not only did we win this game today, but we showed toughness, resilience, and hunger to stay in that game till the last minute. It has been a while since we've seen that from an Erik ten Hag team. Whenever the backline made a tackle, the high fives were back. Our entire midfield, including Bruno, gave everything defensively, and even Højlund was helping out at the back with 1 interception and 2 defensive actions in this game. So for the first time in a long time, United finally have some positive momentum, and no player deserves more credit for this than Diogo Dalot. I was actually very early on this. You can check out my analysis of the Tottenham 2-2 draw back in January, but Dalot is easily our player of the season. And I know that's not really saying much given that we're having a terrible season, but look at everything he's done for this team. When we have injuries in the back line, he plays at left back. When our midfield is a little weak, he'll step in from fullback and play next to the DM so the likes of McTominay, Bruno, and Eriksen can play further forward. He is easily one of the most complete fullbacks in the Premier League. And I'm telling you guys right now, rival fans are sleeping on this guy because we as United fans know just how good he is. So lots of love to show Dalot in this video, but before we do that, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Post-Op Market. Post-Op Market's mission is to simplify the sponsorship process so you can focus on creating your best content and getting paid. So if you are looking to get started on your content creation journey, why not head over to Post-Op Market by clicking the link in the video description? Or if you're looking to advertise your brand or product on my channel, head over to the Footy with an Edge sponsorship page by clicking the link in the description. Once again, that's Post-Op Market to find your next sponsorship or sponsor my channel. So I have 4 clips from that game to show you guys just how good Dalot is as a fullback, starting with this clip from the 14th minute where Villa are trying to build up from the back, and you can see how United are pressing really high up the pitch here with all 3 of our central midfielders in Bruno, Casemiro, and Mainoo in advanced positions. As we play along, Carlos plays a pretty simple pass through the middle into John McGinn in midfield, and as Maguire tries to get tight to him, he pretty much gets rolled very easily, and McGinn turns, getting into a lot of space up ahead. And you can see how he has 3 players next to him attacking sort of big areas of the pitch. So as McGinn gets this under control, he plays a through ball in front of him to Jacob Ramsey, who now is in tons of space, and Villa are basically 3v3 against the United back line. But if you take a closer look here, Bailey's always likely to overlap Dalot here and get into this space in the back. And Ramsey's going to keep driving at Dalot. So even though this is a 3v3, it's actually a 2v1 against Dalot, and then Watkins is the only one being marked by Varane and Shaw on the right hand side. As we play along, Bailey makes that run towards the left hand side as we expected, and Ramsey drives towards Dalot as we expected. Now, as we pause here, you can see there's clear space in between Dalot and Bailey for Ramsey to make this pass, and there's clear space in behind for Bailey to run into and maybe take the shot on first time. But as you'll see in a second, Dalot times his tackle perfectly and clears the ball out of harm's way right here to kill the Villa chance. Now, it's very easy to look at this tackle and say, oh, Ramsey just screwed up the pass. He didn't put enough weight on it. But that would be doing a disservice to Dalot because he's waiting and waiting and waiting for Ramsey to make that pass. He's showing Ramsey the gap through which he should be playing the ball, almost like a traffic cop directing traffic, and then he pounces on his chance to make the interception. So it's a great defensive action, one that his coaches will be proud of, and one that Wan-Bissaka will even be proud of because that's exactly what he does too. He waits and waits and waits for someone to take the heavy touch, and then he goes in for the tackle. Next, we're going to look at 2 back-to-back plays from the 30th minute that speak volumes about the qualities of Dalot. We start with Bruno with the ball on the right wing, and he's about to play it to Dalot right in front of him. And I want you guys to take a look at the United players in and around the box here. We have Garnacho at the edge of the box with 3 of Mainoo, Højlund, and Rashford all inside the box. To have 3 United players inside the box is unheard of, by the way. Last season, I remember crying out for more players to get into the box because we never used to see stuff like this. So this is clearly something that Ten Hag and the coaching staff have worked on this season. As we play along, Dalot puts in an amazing cross that is literal inches away from Højlund, right in the middle of the goal right here. Seriously, look at how close he is to the ball right there. That delivery bends around 5 Villa players that we saw a second ago and almost lands perfectly on Højlund's head. If Højlund makes any contact with this ball in this position, it's definitely a goal. And now we skip to just 20 in-game seconds later. Villa are pushing forward on the break, and we have Longley here with Moreno on the overlap and Ramsey in the middle. As we play along, Longley dribbles forward a bit more, and we're pausing it about right here. Look at Moreno and Ramsey here. Both of them want to get into pockets of space on either side of Dalot in the middle. And yes, while Garnacho is tracking back, he is helping defensively, it is very easy for the Villa players to bypass the first defender, which leaves the onus on Dalot and Casemiro here to take care of whoever gets into these spaces. And now as we play it a little bit further and pause right here, look at Dalot's body shape. He is looking straight at Moreno, making this bending run into this pocket of space back there. So he's ready to get into that space, cover him, and mark him out of the game. But at the same time, Jacob Ramsey has gotten past Casemiro into this space over here, which is kind of behind Dalot. And now Varane has an issue because he has to deal between going for Ramsey or going for Watkins. And this run by Ramsey is seen by Longley, so he plays that ball straight into Ramsey's path. And before it gets there, Dalot manages to change his body shape and cut out the ball so that Villa don't get this dangerous chance to attack us. And again, you might be inclined to say here, Longley screwed up the pass, he didn't put enough weight on it, but the truth is this is just excellent defensive awareness from Diogo Dalot. Because if Ramsey does get through here, Varane has to get tight to Ramsey in this wide area here, which means Maguire is left with these 2 players to defend against for the cutback. And just in case any of this is lost on you guys, Dalot has put in this tackle right here just 30 seconds after he produced a cross that was inches away from hitting Højlund's head. This is just the stuff of fullback's dreams, really. Not much more to add here. And finally, how can we go through this video without talking about the assist for the winner from Dalot? We start with Varane on the ball in midfield here with Bruno and Mainoo just up ahead of him with Dalot on the right hand side. As Varane takes a few more touches right here, you can see how Bruno is coming short from his position, which forces McGinn, I think this is, to go with Bruno here. And all of a sudden that leaves a ton of space for Mainoo in the back in this area over here. So Varane sees this and he plays it forward towards Mainoo, and Mainoo kind of gets into a dangerous spot now. So Moreno ends up leaving his position from next to Dalot and going towards Mainoo on the right hand side. So as Mainoo gets into a tight spot right here between Moreno and Luiz, he gets out of it with a sublime piece of skill, which sets up the ball perfectly for Dalot to put in the cross on McTominay's forehead, so we score the winner. I mean, what a ball, man. Take a bow, Dalot. The whip and pace on this pass gives the Villa defenders and the goalkeeper no chance. And don't get me wrong, McTominay deserves huge credit for the strength to keep Matty Cash right back away from him and the accuracy of the header to put it into the corner. But he can't do any of that if Dalot's cross isn't on a sixpence. So what more can I really say or show you guys? Dalot was elite in this game and he's been elite this season. I can't praise him enough. I don't want to stop there though. Let's take a look at his underlying numbers to see if he's actually as good as we think he is. So Dalot's played about 1900 minutes in the Premier League this season with just 1 goal and 2 assists to show for it. He has created 22 chances, but that's not that amazing considering he's done it over 21 games. And when you look at his advanced statistics here, he doesn't stand out in terms of his shooting numbers like XG or his assist numbers like expected assists either. And if you want to take it a step further, he ranks 33rd in the league for interceptions per 90 compared to other wide controllers according to this website. He also ranks 34th in the league for tackle win percentage according to this website compared to wide controllers, and he ranks 48th in the league for progressive passes per 90 and 41st in the league for pass completion percentage. So if you stop right here, Dalot by all means is an average or below average fullback, and that's that. But context matters. So let's look at the overall context. United have conceded 33 goals in the league this year, which is one more than Everton, who are sitting in 18th place. So when our team as a whole has been so bad defensively, you can't really expect Dalot to put up great tackle and interception numbers. Now going forward, United have only scored 33 goals in the Prem, which is the same as Luton Bloody Town in 17th place. So our terrible attacking form kind of explains why Dalot's progressive passes and pass completion percentages are poor. So with just this added context, Dalot goes from being a below average fullback in a top 6 team, because believe it or not, United are somehow in 6th place, to at least an average fullback in a terrible team. Now let's dig a little bit deeper to see why Dalot is actually a great fullback in a terrible team, and he's even single-handedly carried us through games. Starting with successful crosses per 90. Dalot is the 9th best wide controller in the league in terms of successful crosses per 90. He puts in basically 1 per game. And that is better than Trent, Alexander-Arnold, and Andy Robertson at Liverpool. It's better than Tariq Lamptey at Brighton, and it's also better than Kyle Walker at Man City. And mind you, these are successful crosses. So for the second time this season, when someone actually got their head onto a cross, he got an assist, right? It was for the Garnacho goal and now for this goal as well. Most games, he's putting it into good areas, but we don't have enough men in the box to attack the ball. We did have enough men today, but even then, Højlund barely just missed out on getting on the edge of it. Next, let's take a closer look at his ball progression stats right here. Dalot is in the top 20% of all Premier League players for expected threat this season. This stat measures the increase in probability of scoring based on passes and ball carries made by Dalot, which means Dalot is more or less making the right decisions, whether it's by dribbling or passing forward, to help United progress the ball. Now, these next 2 stats I'm about to show you are probably more revealing than anything else so far, because Dalot is in the top 11% of players to open 1-2s, but he's in the top 46% of players to close 1-2s. These stats are basically telling us that Dalot is consistently making the pass to his winger and getting on the overlap, but he very rarely gets the ball back to close his 1-2. And of course, this also includes situations where he gets the ball back, but he miscontrols it or gets dispossessed. But we're talking about United here, guys. We know whether it's Antony, Rashford, or Garnacho on the wing, they rarely, if ever, try to find Dalot on the overlap. They're always looking to cut inside and shoot. So let's recap our findings here. Dalot is an elite crosser by Premier League standards. His ball progression through both passing and ball carries is great, and he's always willing to run up the wing to attack even when he doesn't get the ball, and down the wing to defend even when our wingers don't necessarily track back. And to top it all off, he has been directly responsible for winning United 9 points this season, because he scored the winning goal against Sheffield United in October from the edge of the box. He assisted the bicycle kick for Garnacho back in November against Everton, and he provided the winning assist for McTominay against Villa today. So you tell me, is Dalot just another average fullback, or is he actually a great fullback and our player of the season? Get in the comments below with your thoughts. Now, there's no doubt that this was a huge win for us in the top 4 race, as we're just 5 points behind Villa and 6 points behind Tottenham, which actually sounds fake considering how bad we've been this season. I think according to expected points, we should have been 12th in the league, with Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Everton, and Chelsea all playing better football than us. But the stat that matters most, I guess, is points, and somehow we are in 6th place. So where does Ten Hag go from here? Because on the one hand, teams like Villa and West Ham are creating more shots on target, and big chances than us. But on the other hand, we're somehow getting over the line in these games. So you can blame Ten Hag for these performances or for the players not being fully at it, but he would argue that this is the first run of games where his first choice team has actually been available. Seriously, look at our uptick in results since Casemiro, Martinez, and Shaw came back into the team. We've won 4 games in a row in all competitions, including 3 in a row in the Premier League. With Luton, Fulham, and Forest in our next 3 games, we could actually win 5 on the bounce in the Premier League and 7 in a row in all competitions. I mean, there's no way any of us would believe a stat like that just a month ago. But hey, it only takes 1 or 2 bad results for United to be back into panic mode, because God knows we're experts at bottling good form at the worst possible time. So if you guys are still watching, what do you think is going to happen this season? Are we going to go on a win streak and actually put some of this bad mojo behind us? Or we're going to keep struggling? Before we end the video, I want to give quick shout outs to Garnacho, Casemiro, and Maguire, because I thought they were all an immense part of that defensive performance today. Seriously, Villa had plenty of chances to score goals. Also, a quick shout out to Rasmus Højlund for now scoring in 5 straight Premier League games. What a turnaround it has been for this kid. Comment down below how many you think he finishes on in the league this season. My guess is 13, so he's going to score 8 more according to me. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.